I like using the metaphor of a classroom because that's really the first time you, or most people, interact with a lot of different types of life strategies. The real way that I like to see the world is through the way people choose to confront it. Nobody really knows anything. Everybody's pretty uncertain, and the people who think they know something are probably following the save file of somebody else who was here and thought they knew something. And seeing that everything, say you get to the peak of enlightenment, you probably couldn't even put it into words. So what's the point of all of it anyway? Either way, back to the classroom. In a classroom, you might find a lot of different types of people. You find the people who think that their looks can get them through anything, who bat a couple eyes, and they usually get what they want, whether it's popularity, whether it's money, whether it's out of trouble, whether people just assume better things of them because they're clearly not the type of person who needs to do something untoward. But when it comes down to it, there's a lot more types of people. There's the type of people who may not have the best home life. So when they come to school, they either A, want some form of comfort, a safe place, a constant, or it's another place for them to show how they feel on the inside and push it towards the outside. That can definitely be something that any person takes it upon themselves to feel. It definitely makes sense to feel that way, but that can be a chaotic thing to express, and it can definitely be a chaotic thing for another impressionable person to see and possibly mimic. So the only reason I bring up this classroom, I don't feel like going through the rest of the different archetypes of kids in a class. It's the one place where you interact with a bunch of different types of people born from different backgrounds in such an intimate setting. Like, say there's 23 to 30 kids in the classroom. Say you know even half the class, or you know the entire class, maybe some people would. That's 30 different people who come from 30 different backgrounds, who all have learned things that a parent would consider essential at this point. I think most people, once they're kids at 7th grade, they probably want to have taught them at least one thing that they see as profound and heavy and worth knowing. And if they don't have that sort of guidance at home, or if their parents aren't thinking that way, what do they really have? People's strategies on interacting with the world is a very rich thing to me. I've always found that other people's perspective on the world and what they do to make it through is like gold. Even the most useless vermin, his last 4 minutes has to be precious. His last few thoughts, his true reflection on his life, to me, there's no way that doesn't have immense value. And for a great person who well thought through his life, who analyzes his life well, that's a life that's certainly worth living and worth examining by others. And I've always felt that way. I never really read an autobiography before, and I tried to read a couple a few years ago, but the idea that somebody could analyze their life in such a way that they retold it and tried to put to words the drama that God's been putting forth in their lives, that's a great thing. Because in truth, what the hell are we doing? Think about any sort of person from any of those backgrounds and where they came from, and return to that classroom and who they were and how it got them where they are. There's a guy that I was in school with. I just saw on Facebook that he's joined the army. Just never in a million years would I have guessed that from him. Congratulations, that's amazing. Thanks for your service, but holy cow, I would not have expected that. And when you think about what that person believes and what he did after high school and what he did in high school and his parents and his family and the people around him, it makes a little bit more sense. But only if you go to a place of pure stereotypes. The place that you're told is forbidden and racist and terrible. But is it? Is it really forbidden, racist, and terrible to look at the way patterns make people's lives go and how certain strategies lead people to other ways? Because let's take the race out of it. Regardless of your color, people whose strategy is to intimidate, people whose strategy is to trample, people whose strategy is to move forward by dominating others and going past the rules and completely shirking any societal obligation one might have. There's a reason that you can just what kind of people you're talking about here. And you could probably make a top 3 list if you don't know exactly what I'm talking about here. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's true. And why is it true? Because of culture, because of a lack of education, and because of other factors coming in that benefit from certain communities being broken. A lack of information, a lack of knowledge, and certain natural tendencies towards low IQ violence. You can't really ignore that too much. And when you look around the world, there's not really any havens anywhere in the world where their countries do well, where they are the dominant. They immigrate and they tend to degrade. That doesn't have to be the case. Because we have mixed, we've mingled, and we've become different people. I love where Kanye is going now. Well, the artist formerly known as Kanye. It's really hard to say yay because I'm literally thinking yay as in like an exclamation of joy. So I'll say the artist formerly known as Kanye for the respect factor, I guess. But that one song off Bully, All the Love, bro, the message of that song. There's not a ton of it. He ain't dropping bars, he ain't rapping, he ain't Ty Dolla $ign, and he ain't got some crazy feature. It's pure energy, and that energy is you don't have to hold on to pain. You don't have to hold on to hurt. You ain't got to be a broken tool that's only used for hurting people. You ain't got to be that. There can be love. And that's been my biggest problem lately. I've been trying to only express love even towards things that I hate. I'm trying to become neutral enough that I can consciously choose love constantly, because I'm coming to the realization that all things are the same thing, and that same thing is the infinite, and that same thing is God. So to really hate anything is kind of silly. To think yourself slain or to have slain someone, it's all silly. To want somebody else to lose their job because they were a few minutes late, it's silly. To want to end someone's life over a matter of $1,000 is silly. To want to explode somebody else for a financial system that is all just a game. A game created long ago that we're all adhering to because a big enough gang is maintaining the game. That's just life. What the fuck are we doing? How is that just life? Yes, there's got to be a system. Yes, there's got to be something. It does not have to be this. And the people who made it this are living longer than they ever have before. And then new people are being born and they're inheriting what's happened before, and they're hurt and they feel trauma and they're just as lost. So they're just doing what happened before. Secluded into their money, watching the world burn. And what comes next, really? Because they still have to go. Are we going to be the same way? Are we going to inherit what's left over of the world and use it to reign over the 6-7 kids? It's nutty. It can't happen. Well, it could happen, but I hope it doesn't happen. Because in truth, it's really insane for us to see the world the way that we do. For us to need to take over people. For us to need to spread gossip. For us to need to hurt people. Even for people we love. You're arguing with your spouse and they might have said something that hurt you, so now you got to say something that hurts them back. And before you know it, instead of arguing for the sake of your relationship and trying to find a solution, you're subtly finding a way to hurt your partner. And it does take real skill to pause and stop yourself from doing that. Even with your own friend, you can have a debate, you can have an argument, you can have a disagreement, and it goes into that realm. Even with real conflict, there's so many conflicts that even as a meme, if someone as a meme was to back down and just be a cool person, people tend to just shrug shit off and laugh. random fits of rage we find ourselves in due to old trauma, due to being taught that we have to be overly cautious to the world. But in truth, if all of us had the courage to face it openly and truly, it probably wouldn't be that scary. We would probably be able to come together. And the ones that aren't willing to come together, we'd probably be able to root them out very quickly. But instead, we're all kind of scared and huddled into ourselves. We don't want to help people. We don't want to reach a hand out. We don't want to speak up. But we can hold up a camera and put it on social media, our own personal little echo chamber where we can hear what people say in a safe little pipeline, but not be directly involved. The type where someone can be slain in front of you and no one restrains the man, no one tries to help, no one even calls the authorities. And when you do, you're seen as a criminal. You're seen as someone who's trying to hurt people. And it really isn't okay. Everything's so backwards now. Family's seen as a burden. Settling down with somebody and creating a life together, having something that's sweet and romantic and true and purposeful, that's seen as shallow. But seeking fame and money and traveling and all sorts of nonsense, that's seen as the ideal life. What are we fucking doing? Because in my personal opinion, what I'm doing now is emptiness. And it's not that I need more money, it's that doing something, pressing buttons on a keyboard a couple times a day in an office setting and producing something that a computer could do very easily. Maybe back in the day it was more fulfilling when it was something that only a person could do. But the more automated it becomes, the more you become the space button, the Control-Alt-Delete. The more you become that, the more you see that it's pointless and it doesn't feel like anything. Especially when prices are rising, when you don't have the ability to eventually get a house doing the same thing, when you don't have an ability to fix the problems that come up in life because everything's going up. When you're in survival mode constantly, even though you're doing what you were told you were supposed to do. To find success, it just takes more money. To be free, it just takes more money. To have more options than just the worst option, it takes more money. Who the fuck cares about money, bro? Even like at my level, it's like some people would desire to preserve the $50, but I'd rather be broke, not have the $50 and have an experience with anyone. It doesn't even have to be someone close to me, my coworkers, people that I don't hold in the highest regard, but if I buy a couple pizzas, we can all have a really good day. And suddenly people are opening up and talking about themselves. Suddenly we're all standing in a group and we're talking about somebody's home life and what's going on, and we're all giving our opinions, and she knows a little bit more about herself now. She may make a completely different decision, that's not up to us, but she was able to open up and feel comfortable and cry in front of coworkers. What is that? We've gained a loyalty to each other and created a friendship. I don't know if this is happening to other people elsewhere. I hope so. But this is like the third job I've had where this has happened, and jobs where that doesn't happen, it just doesn't work. If I can't create a bond with that people, and that's why jobs do that. That's why the crappy Wally Marts and all these places, they try to make it a family, because that's what makes people stay. I'm sure there's a study somewhere, they're like, no, the only factor that remains in keeping people in soulless jobs is when you go there, the people you're there with, you enjoy being there with. That can make any job excellent. It can make any job perfect. It can make you grateful to live your life, because every day is an event. When you get off, you could hang with these people that you worked with all day. When you're going through something hard, you're struggling through something with people that you know. I used to call it weathering the storm. A rush of people are coming in. That's back when I worked at a sandwich shop. People are coming in. We got to make the stuff fast. We got to go fast. Delivery. When you do all that stuff, dude, it's a bonding ritual, and it just feels so heavy. The little shit that you don't care about, the rush that doesn't affect me now, the rush that, yeah, the store's busy, I don't care. They'll get helped when they get helped, versus me caring versus the lightning in my bones versus me actually trying to do everything as fast as possible because I know my friend is as well, and because we all actually care about what we're doing here, because we all actually care about each other. It's really just, it's infectious. And then certainly some people who were on the outside who were suddenly not very much like that is suddenly coming out to the bar, is suddenly coming out to the party. As long as you're inclusive enough, as long as there's somebody who's willing to break certain comfortability barriers so that people can be fair and that the good times can be managed. Sure, there's going to be drama. Sure, people are going to talk shit. There's going to be stories, but even that is part of the value. That's what makes even, I'd say, my stupid little life valuable. But in that situation, it only works if the people are right. It only works if it's real. But when there's people who are in that mix who, even though everything's good, they still live to make sure, hey, this person's a full-time student, but when they come to work, even though the entire store is dead, she's on her laptop. So because she's on her laptop, I don't like her. And there's something wrong with her, and we need to figure out a way to get her written up and change the rules so that her life is more stressful. Bitch, who the fuck are you? You don't make any money. She doesn't make any money. You don't care about this business. When you clock out, you're good. Everybody's numbers are exactly the same. So why are you now making it your vendetta to make this person's life worse? How could that? I even think about this all the time. I'm a police officer. I don't understand how 88% of cops pull people over for the stupid expired tag shit. How, bro, do you, I'm sure you might have maybe a quota or something, but do you truly have a personal vendetta against your fellow man that they didn't get a certain sticker? If it's hella long, okay, I guess maybe do what you got to do. It would look bad if you just ignored it all, but ensure the system has to maintain. Some eggs gotta crack. I'm not saying don't do your job, but the cop that's sitting in a grocery store running cars so that he could get as many people with his ticket as much as possible, maybe he's trying to run some money up. It's not that much money to incur that much unnecessary grief to my fellow man. I just never. I'm not gonna sell somebody some extra shit knowing it's not gonna help them much just so the store's budget will be better, so they can give me a Reese's piece and say thank you for your sales, so they can give me a $25 gift card and say thank you for your sales. Take your $25 gift card and your Reese's piece and shove it up your Reese's piece, bitch. I don't give a fuck. That is the most disgusting thing ever. It's damn near evil, and I can't stand it. And even if I made more money, say I become the head, say I become the owner of the damn thing. I don't have to go to work. All I have to do is oversee it. Suddenly I'm the type of person who has to worry about the budget. Oh yeah, this person has to go. Or maybe I take minor losses and focus on the overall well-being of my company, my employees, and its future. And I promise it would do more. And they don't even do any good advertising. There's no innovative companies anymore. There's no innovative commercials anymore. No companies are really using social media. They could all be doing so much, but they're not. They're creating more rules and more regulations so that we're more dead and soulless in these stupid jobs doing absolutely nothing. And then they wonder why there's a management crisis everywhere, because managers are terrible people, and the good managers have to leave because they must be mandated to be these terrible people. Or maybe it's just as soulless for them. I don't know why all these managers leave. Because as the manager I've seen, you're captain of the ship, and as far as the building goes, there's nobody else in the building who can say shit to you. So you can determine the environment. And instead of taking that responsibility and going above and beyond with it, they tend to just make normal people's lives harder. I don't think I've seen one job where they took the incentive to do anything special, to put a little bit of pride in it. You remember back in the day when a teacher would decorate their classrooms all over the top just to give their own personal flair? Where's that for your local Wendy's? Where's the Wendy's manager that cares and wants to put, I don't know, stupid shit, paper decorations hanging from the ceiling, little shit to make every day feel special? Shit that they can certainly do all the time. Change the music up a little bit. There's so many ways you can make so many places different, but why do we still have these 2003 style gray rooms with some chairs in them for these office buildings when you can have ambient beautiful rooms for a fraction of the cost? beautiful displays, the amount of shit that you can find on Temu or just random storefronts that you could do. Everything doesn't have to be the same packaged, disgusting corporate monster. What the fuck are we doing? Like, I don't understand why people adhere to these rules, why we give money to stations and old people from the past just because we've been doing it forever. We adhere to markets and systems that have been older than old. We can't even find the origin of it. Even the powers that be are 2 generations down. What is anyone doing? The top of the top is killing for nothing. Nobody understands why anything is happening, and in 2 more generations, it literally won't be attached to anyone. It will still be maintaining it for nothing. Hurting each other for nothing. Fake greed. The money ain't even based on gold anymore. It's a system. It's fucking fake. I saw a TikTok earlier, and it's insane to hear it because it sounds naive and silly. But why do we have the system? The shit gotta get done. People need water. So why can't the strongest, the intelligent, the most intelligent, why can't we create a system where people do what the fuck they're supposed to do simply to maintain the world and want things to get better? Then we don't have to have money over everybody else. Shit gotta get done, and certain people are good at it, and certain people fucking enjoy it, bro. There are people out there that fucking enjoy their jobs. There are plumbers that enjoy plumbing. There are people who learn every stupid little part of a fucking job for no fucking reason. A craftsman will be a craftsman to the end of day. A repairman will be a repairman to the end of day. Humans were meant to evolve, create, and innovate. What if we just did that for the sake of doing that? Instead of lording over each other, instead of hoarding fucking funds. That would be insane, and it sounds naive, and it sounds like a utopian idea of the world. But holy shit, that's so fucking simple, bro. Like, I can't even fathom. Everybody from now on, do everything you're doing, but don't swipe a fucking card. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand the supply and demand of it. I understand that everybody can't have everything, but that's why you would have to revamp the system. Why do we have these big ass cities where we've crammed everybody together like sardines? And it seems that's where the highest crime is. There's no accountability because there's too many people. There's too many people because the system is too big and too vague. There's no identity here. There's no actual families here. The city has its own heartbeat, but their people are dead. The city never sleeps, but the people never really live. They're stuck in a game that nobody wants to play. And most people suffer. Most people lie. Most people are going through the fucking motions, wishing for something else. For fucking nothing. So that was the point of this video. What the hell are we doing? Because my entire life, they've made it seem like as long as I went to the job and kept simple and remained consistent and stopped quitting them, I'd have an okay life. They're not wrong, but I don't think I've ever been more suicidal. I don't think ever. I have the most to live for, effectively happy, but I'm most angry, most empty, because there's no fucking value in that. It's fake. Is this what we wanted? Who the fuck grew up and said, yeah, man, I don't, but I'm trying to work in a call center. I'm trying to work in a grocery store. I'm trying to work at the bank. A lot of people do a bunch of bullshit that doesn't matter, and some people really don't care, and those people can keep carrying on the way that they do. But the system shouldn't force most people to be trapped in that situation. And for a parent, I don't understand how a parent could just give up so easily. There's so many parents out there that aren't perpetually teaching their kids, that aren't consciously living. How can you not be constantly analyzing your life? And when you have a kid, how can you not be analyzing the way you teach and how it's affecting them and wanting to learn more about it? It seems absurd to me. And us having to deal with all these systems and all these problems is because people are going through the motions without really thinking about it. And it's destroying the world. It's destroying everybody. It's destroyed the families. Nobody wants to have a kid. Nobody wants to have a family. It's hard for any of the men to really get to the level where the women will take them seriously. And the ones that are still so empty because what they needed to do to get that is like either soul crushing or evil, so they become shell husk or fat people. It's a stupid, wicked game where nobody wins. And even the people up top, like, aren't they like in vegetative states, maintaining power for nothing? Like, there's very few of them that even are young and spry. When they get sex, like, it can't be worth it, bro. I don't understand. There's got to be more to this, and that's the point of the video. Maybe this is more of a question than it is an answer, because I am still doing the same thing. I go to work every day. I maintain what I have. I maintain the people I love. I do what I can to have a good time and to find happiness when I can, but 85% of it can't be meaningless whole work. And even now, when I've learned to sacrifice that work to Vishnu, there's still times where I'm not at work. So I can't be miserable all those times as well. It's just, it doesn't feel right. It feels off. I'm not quite there. There has to be something more. The never-ending boredom. I don't know, man. I'll find it, and I hope you do too. I think I was gonna say something else, but I'm gonna cut the video for now because I really didn't want to make a video today, but as soon as I had just given up and said I'm not gonna make a video, for some reason I was on Snapchat rambling. And that's kind of what I wanted to do initially with this page. I make some really good videos on my Snap, but those are to my personal people, and I don't have any barrier. I don't have any issue. I don't have any issue expressing myself. My volume, I can scream. It's like, there's no filter there. I'm unfiltered myself. So I try to get that through in these videos. But niggas be trying to watch Pokemon videos, I'm not gonna lie. And I like the Pokemon videos too. It's what I've always wanted to do, but the more that I do that, it's not what I want to do. I want to talk about the world. I want to talk about what's going on. I want to talk about God. I want to talk about the universe and causality and what it means to be human. I want to talk about the best way to be human, how certain lives lead people. I want to connect to the universe. I want to connect to the world. I want to connect to everything. And the gaming is fun. That is something. And going to work isn't fun, but that's also something, and I can see it as an okay sacrifice to Vishnu and all that shit. But I don't know, man. I can't just I'm not going into that right now. Thank you for watching the video. This has really been a discombobulated stream of consciousness, but I'm not too unhappy that I made it. It's one of those videos that'll be in the log. I'm glad it's here.
Nothing.